Hello, grade 4 students. How are you doing? Is it okay? Are you ready to study today? If you're okay, then welcome you to our science class. Today we'll talk about heat conductivity. And that is pages 151 to 153 of your book. But before that, we will review, okay? So we studied last time about this elasticity, all right? And then we had this how to apply elasticity property of materials, and we did it with this, activity, enhancing activity, and you did it. Congratulations for doing it. You're really good at doing it. But today, we will talk about this lesson on heat conductivity. So turn your book to pages 151 to 153. All right? So what is heat conductivity of materials? This is the property of materials which can conduct heat or let the heat transfer from one material to another. Different types of materials are able to conduct heat differently. Let's read this question. Which types of material can conduct heat? Well, let us see here. We rather go to the science process skills with this objective to test and compare the property of the heat conductivity of materials. What is the problem? Here is the problem. Which materials can conduct heat? And so hypothesis is negative, so you can say there is no significant difference among the heat of these materials. Alright? Or you can modify that. You have something to prepare, like an ice cream stick, a plastic spoon, a 500 milliliter beaker, a metal spoon, a glass stirring rod, 250 milliliters of very hot water. Well, I don't have it available here. But you don't worry if you don't have it. The important thing is you're learning from this activity. Alright? So we have the step-by-step process. Number one, work in groups. That you cannot do it now because it's pandemic. You're at your home. Well, you can just try to work with somebody else there. Observe what an ice cream stick, a metal spoon, a glass stirring rod, and a plastic spoon are made of. Then record the data in the given table. So the given table is next page. Number two, find a problem and form a hypothesis on the property of the heat conductivity of materials. Alright, let's go to page 152. Okay, in here, then do an experiment to test the hypothesis by following these steps. Touch the two ends of an ice cream stick, a metal spoon, a plastic spoon, and a glass stirring rod with your hand, and record the data below. And pour hot water into a beaker and put one end of its object into the beaker. Leave them in the beaker for 3 to 5 minutes. And number 3, touch the other end of each object and record the data here. And then, number 4 here, discuss and sum up the results of your group or of your activity. Present it to the class. It means you don't have time to do that, but just let's modify or change this activity. Then sum up the property of the heat conductivity of its object. Again, with the class. So this is where you record the data, observing the heat conductivity of materials. List of materials or list of objects of ice cream stick, metal spoon, plastic spoon, plastic stirring rod, and type of material. You can write in there, is it plastic, is it metal, alright, is it wood, okay, is it glass, heat of objects before hot water, you can use, you can measure it, heat of objects in hot water, alright, you can sum it up here. But the one to do this is easy. Once you understand it here, we learn that different materials can conduct heat differently, and metal materials can conduct heat better than other materials. Then you will be able to sum it up. For you to be able to answer this activity, learn more about next page on page 153 about heat conductivity, which is, or what is heat conductivity? Heat conductivity is the property of materials which lets heat pass through them. If one side of the material gains heat, the heat will be transferred to the other side of it. This makes the side of the material that does not touch the heat directly have the same temperature. Because different materials can conduct heat differently, we can group materials into two types by heat conductivity as follows. 1. Heat conductors are materials that can conduct heat or let heat pass through them very well. They are metal materials like iron, copper, stainless steel, etc. We usually use them to make the parts of the cooking tools that need heat. Look at these cooking tools. Alright? Okay, you have the body of a pot, body of a pan, and body of a kettle. They're made of metals. Number 2, alright? Heat insulators. Remember? Heat conductors. Alright? And heat insulators are materials that cannot, conduct heat at all or do not let heat pass through them easily. These materials are wood, fabric, plastic, rubber, etc. We usually use them to make the parts of the cooking tools that do not need heat. Alright, you have this holder of a pot, holder of a pan, and holder of a kettle. That one is heat insulators. Alright? And so, right now, I want you to post your answers below. And, well, bye-bye and see you next time.